Top tips for interacting with your child. So children learn from others, and so they watch others, they listen to others, and they understand the world by what other people do in their lives. Uh, the tricky part is children with autism are often overwhelmed by interaction or just have a hard time tuning in to others' interaction, so they end up missing out on learning. So what we have to do is be very careful with the environment that they're learning in, especially when you're trying to establish new skills. So one of the things to look at is the distractors that are in your environment. And you want to eliminate as many distractors as you can, especially thinking a lot if your child is really tuned into sound and can hear things that happen much farther away or much sooner than you can hear it, then I would think about this when I was presenting any new information to him or trying to get him to focus, because if he's hearing sounds more acutely than you are, that means that more sounds are in his environment that he has to try to cut through in order to hear your message. So if your kiddo's easily distracted, you should first quiet the noise. So any background talking, any music, any TV, having even the computer screen on, it may have a little hum to it. Definitely turn off your phone. So anything that you can think of to quiet the noise. Put any loose toys away. So you want to make sure that your child is only able to access during your focus time or teaching time what you want them to access. So that's what the suggestion of binning the toys in something clear that's hard for them to open is really helpful. If you end up finding yourself in a busy environment, so you thought it was going to be quiet, but then your husband came home from work or the little sister came home from the babysitter and more people are coming. So just get out of the way and go somewhere else because you'll be working against yourself. When you're doing ESTM at the beginning, definitely it should just be one person working with your child at a time. So mom should work with them for a while and dad should work with them for a while, but not both at the same time. It's too hard to establish a connection for these kiddos with two people at once. And then this one person at a time and eliminating the distractors just helps your child to attend to you, and you're the most important one who is going to be working with them. So get rid of all the sounds, all the noises, and all the extra toys. When you're working with your child and doing your focus time or even interacting with them, there is an ideal interaction zone. So kiddos can have a physical reaction to other kids or other adults that are too close. So it may get them overstimulated, or they may want to back up and get out of that situation. So you have to figure out how close your child is comfortable with you being to them. So if your child doesn't have this problem, then it's not really a big deal, but you don't want to be too far away either. So we want to get usually within arm's length of your arm's length of the child. So if they are standing in front of you, you should be able to reach out and touch their shoulders with both hands, or if they're sitting in front of you, the same. If you get that close to your child and your child backs up or turns their head and looks away, then back up just a little bit because you may be too close for them. They will be able to work with you closer by as they get more comfortable, but maybe in the beginning, just please respect what they are letting you know with their bodies, which is, that's too close. And then the other thing to look for is if their mood changes really quickly to unhappy, or they start moving really rapidly around, then you know that you're too close as well. So move back. Um, And so the position you want to be in is that your child should look at you, so eye to eye. So that means that you may have to be down low on the floor, and they might be in a chair, or if they're on the floor, you may have to go like on your side, but you really want to get eye to eye with them. You want to try to be in a situation where you can make repeated eye contact. So when we're interacting with others, generally we're referencing their faces, and then then the object, or referencing their faces and then looking down. But there should be repeated eye contact. So you want to give the opportunity for that. Your child should have a clear view of your face, and the expressions you make in your mouth, so that they can see all those things, and you're a good model. So you could sit down in your child down in a chair or beanbag facing you, and you can be sitting on the floor, and that would probably get you eye to eye. But make sure that their back and feet are supported, and be sure that they're comfortable. If your kiddo is a little bit older, then it would be fine to be like at a kitchen table or something, but you may want to put like a phone book or something that's a little thicker on the floor, so that they can make sure that their feet are touching the floor during the interactions. If a kiddo's feet are swinging because the chair is too tall, it's harder for them to stay focused on the activity that you're doing. So always make sure that their feet are solidly on the ground when you're working with them, and eating as well. Following your child's lead is one of the core pieces of Early Start Denver model, and just a really smart thing to do, because they will be motivated, which means that they'll learn more successfully. So when you're following their lead, it really makes learning language for them a lot easier, because you're talking about things they're interested in. So if your child's interested in dinosaurs and you're talking, oh, the dinosaur is going up, he's green, he's bumpy, he's got a long tail and a long neck. You're teaching them vocabulary that they're interested in a way that they're interested in it. The other thing that when you're doing following your child's lead is active listening. So you're watching the play, you're smiling, you're watching whatever they're doing, you're making sounds, you're commenting. And so you're truly engaged with their play, and the child starts to notice by, they may look up at you every once in a while. So that's where the positive affect comes in. And they may even hand you something to play with, but if you're following their lead, you're just kind of following along with how they're playing with the toys. Another thing for following your child's lead is narrating their actions. So you can add simple words or short phrases or sounds to what they're doing. Oh, the car's going down the hill, and you're putting it in the elevator, or you're pushing it round and round. Another thing you can do is offer help to your child when you're first starting playing with them and getting settled in, and just getting comfortable. Hand them toys, name the toys that you hand them. If you think you can slide it in, you could be, when they're wanting something, you could hold it up to your eyes so that they look at it before you hand it to them. So you can start pushing it a little bit while you're following their lead, by having them make requests a little. Another way to work on following their lead is to imitate the actions that they make. So that you could take a turn doing it, or use the same item doing exactly what they're doing. And so, as we had mentioned before, anytime when you're first starting doing this with your child, you want to ease into it, ease into the play, and then make the request, and then change it up so that they can follow. On page 90, there's a really great refrigerator list as well to take a look at of activities. And my favorite one is having fun with your child. So ESDM should be fun when, and once it starts getting underway. So first, it might not be fun because you're making your child do things that they have never had to do before, which is always tricky, and you're going to be wanting to, be a little bit more serious about it. But remember, they learn when it's fun. So in order for them to learn faster and to give them more learning opportunities, try to always bring in like your sense of humor or be a little bit silly. There's no reason that throwing your tissue away in the garbage has to be a boring time. You could make a sound, oh, you're throwing it in, swoosh, yay! That's how to make throwing a tissue away fun, is sound effects and just, your affect about it. And then your child will want to do it more. So think about how to make things fun, because it does help the child with their memory, in the memory process as well. You connect and remember things more when they're fun. And then they'll give you cues to continue the fun, and that's what the basis of communication is. So they may, laugh after you do something, and wait for you expectantly, and that might be a great time for you to get them to request for more. And having fun also has its own natural reward. So you're laughing, and the child may do something that they usually don't do or say a word because they're relaxed and just in the moment. When you are the source of fun and pleasure, it really increases your child's attention to you. So if you're a lot of fun and your child has fun with you, then they're going to want to hang out with you more and be with you because they enjoy it. Okay, so transitions are, we had talked earlier that we were going to go over this. Transitions can be tricky for some kiddos. And so there's some strategies that you can use that will make it easier. And so transitions are considered either between activities that you're doing or places that you're going. And the goal for it is that you should be able to tell your child what you're going to do and that they're going to do it on their own. So we don't want to be dragging the children through the transitions, but in order for them to really be successful at a transition, you kind of have to plan ahead. So first you tell them what's happening. So they've been playing Cars for about 10 minutes or so, and it's time to go. It's time to go to the store. So tell them what's happening. Oh, in a few minutes, we're going to clean up. So the best way is to give them a warning. So first, in 5 minutes, we're going to clean up, and then let them play a little longer. In 3 minutes, we're going to clean up. And then the final part would be, oh, in 1 minute, we're cleaning up. And then the cleanup song. And so our cleanup song is clean up, everybody, everywhere. And so when you pick your cleanup song, make sure that you always sing it the same way, and you sing it every time you clean up anything, because then your child will associate the cleanup song with cleaning up, and it'll be easier for them. That's the routine. So in order to establish the routine, though, is you have to follow through on at least a portion of the request, no matter what. And this is a huge point. When you ask your child to do something, if they don't do it and you don't make them do it, then they develop more of then I don't really have to do it when she asks, so I can just ignore. And so you have to have them do some portion of it every time, even if it means that they only put one block in the box to clean up. That's fine, especially in the beginning. But always make them do something so that they know that when you say clean up, they have to do it. And then when they finally clean up the old thing, then to move on, you praise them. Yay, okay, let's go. And so it's really important that you're consistent and don't give in. And it's really important that you develop a routine between transitions. So if instead of going to the store, or your child maybe they're at the park and they don't want to clean up and they don't want to leave, talk to them about what you're going to do next, and do something that you can always do, the countdown routine or the song that helps them know that they're going to make a change. So the other thing for transitions is if it's with a toy, you can just, and you're the one that's interacting with them, if you stop participating in the activity, sometimes that will help the child want to participate. So say you were playing a game or a toy, and then you said, oh, we're about ready to clean up here. Just stop playing, and then they won't find it as much fun, because with ESDM, when you're first doing interactions, you're the person that's motivating to them. Then the other thing you can do is try to make the activity super boring, or show them what you're going to do next by bringing out the next activity, and then help, kind of remove the other one before, while the child's focused on the new one. So there's a few different ways of doing the switch out. And remember, if an object is interfering with the child achieving the goals, so say they're getting more focused on the ball that's in the corner than the thing that you need them to work on or play with, just remove it from the room. You really need to create the environment that's as least distracting as possible. So remember, the daily workout is 2 times a day of focus time for 15 minutes would be the goal, or 1 time for 30 minutes. And you're going to work up onto that. You'll probably start at 5 minutes a time, or maybe 10 minutes altogether, and get better at it. You want to do a mixture of sensory social games or fun games, and mixed in with the joint activity routines, or ones where they're with an object or learning a new skill. So you go back and forth. And just as soon as you finish this training module, you can go ahead and start the focus activities with your kiddo, even just playing with them and starting to get a routine set up in that way. So the focus activities that you do are your ESDM goals, and we're going to go over now the other top tips that you should implement. So here's a summary of all the top tips we've touched upon. Following your child's lead, so watch what they like to do and follow that so that they're motivated. Being consistent, and repetition and routine. So consistency, repetition, and routines. Everything should be done more than 3 times in order to establish it. You should do it the same way every time, and establish as many routines around the different activities of your day as possible. Number 3, do less and wait. So we talked about that, especially during our sensory social routines, that you may want to, they're jumping or bouncing, and then you stop midway and you wait for them to look at you or make a request. And that teaches them that their words have meaning. For positioning, you're going to get eye to eye with your child and get in the interaction zone, which is usually an arm length away. Always reinforce positive behavior by something immediate, intense, and specific. So, great sitting, good using your words, or yay, or just clapping your hands. Anything that's really just intense and right away will pull their attention into what you're doing and get them focused on the fact that social interaction is a good thing. Number 6, always encourage cleanup. So every time you have an activity that you've participated in with your child, or your child's participated in, make sure they clean up some little portion of it. Expand their vocabulary. So when you're talking to your child, give them new vocabulary about things that they're interested in. So if they're interested in dinosaurs, you're telling them more that you can think about with dinosaurs. So you're saying dinosaurs are green, they have a long tail, they have a long neck, they have big feet. And so just things that will attach concepts to something they're already interested in. Number 8, you ease into the play and then take control. So especially if your child's resistant to playing with you, you gently sit next to them and you talk about what they're playing with, and talk about how they're playing and what actions. And then once they let you into the play more, you can start holding back certain items so that they have to request them. You can encourage that they take a turn before they get something. So it's a little bit more focused on requesting and using eye contact. Number 9, over exaggerate your facial expressions so that your child gets positive reinforcement for looking at your face, and always make it fun. As much as you can, try to bring the fun out of the activities and come at it in a positive way, even when your child is especially when your child's having a hard time paying attention. It's exhausting though to be that on, but that's the way you have to be initially to get your child tuned in to what you're to your social interaction, and then eventually you can calm down with it and they won't need that level of intensity, but at first they will. So really bring the energy.